Guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, I've been seeing a lot of rubbish online, seen a lot of interviews, um, and saying that, Kell Brook cashed out against Terence Crawford. You know, I'm on Kell Brook's side here. I don't know why people are keep that why people online are continuing to talk nonsense. The guy's a fighter. That's his job. There's no such thing as cashing out. The guy got paid what, $2 million. That's not ridiculous amount of money. For a fight. That's not. You can't really say cashing out. I feel like it's disrespectful to say that. It's a bit like calling a fighter. He's going in there. He's grabbing the money and he's disrespecting the fans. I feel like when you're saying cash grab, I feel like it's really a disrespectful thing to say. Like you're just selling yourself basically just for money. And I don't think any fighter would do that. Like I think Kell Brook was financially okay before the Crawford fight, and $2 million isn't like it's a stupid amount of money where $2 million runs out quick. This is a guy that's gonna have to live the rest of his life not doing his job. His job is short term. Kell Brook's not gonna, like, I don't know what he's gonna do once he retires. Maybe he's got some properties and he's got businesses set up, hopefully, and he's financially okay, and he doesn't have to, he doesn't go broke or he doesn't have to work again. But I think it's very disrespectful to say a guy's cashing out. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, or he cashed out because he didn't think he could beat Crawford. Well, I don't think that. I think thought he could beat Crawford. We didn't think he could beat Crawford. But that's another matter altogether. Just because Kell Brook went into a fight that people didn't think he could win, that doesn't mean he didn't think he could win. I think to say it's a cash grab, I just think it's rubbish, to be honest, because I think he's a fighter. He's a prize fighter. That's what they do. They fight. It's like a job. It's like, Crawford needed an opponent. He wanted to fight Crawford. He got the fight. And I think the way Brook acted made people think that, because he ditched off his trainer, Eddie Hearn. He did a deal behind Eddie's back. But when you think about it, right, Kell Brook's at the final stage of his career. If he's gonna have to pay Dominic Ingle, I don't know whether Dominic Ingle was to do with the pay or it was just logistics or whatever. And Eddie Hearn, for example, is gonna take a cut. I don't blame him. $2 million isn't a lot of money. If Eddie's gonna take what, a quarter of that, that's a lot that Brook, and then he has to give away to a manager. I don't think Brook had to give that much away. Just because I think he probably got his trainer on the cheap and got everyone that around in that team on the cheap, and I think he probably kept majority of the purse. And I think that was the whole point of him not having Eddie Hearn and all that involved, because they thought they could do the deal themselves. There was no need to have Eddie there because they didn't need Eddie to do it for them, because Eddie is the one that does everything. If Eddie was involved, Eddie would have got the fight done. Brook wouldn't have had to do anything. But they probably thought, like his dad and his team around him probably thought, we don't need Eddie. We're going to have to pay him unnecessary money. We could do this deal ourselves. Right? And that's why Eddie probably got a bit peed off. But in terms of cashing out, I don't understand. I don't understand why. I don't understand why people say that. They're prize fighters. They go out and fight. They're not going to turn down a challenge just because the public think that they can't win. Just because the public think that Kell Brook can't beat Crawford doesn't mean it's a cash grab. He's a prize fighter. That's what he does. He's living. I think it's nonsense. People saying that, people saying, well, it smells like a cash grab, or it's a cash grab. I just think it's a load of rubbish. I think Kell Brook tried his best against Terence Crawford, and he wasn't good enough. That's basically what it is. I just think that we need to stop the rubbish and stop giving people hate. I saw Matthew Macklin's interview, and he said, he thinks it smelled a bit like cash grab, where the way Brook acted. He's saying he didn't think that Brook. He's not saying that Brook didn't think he could win, but just the way that Dominic Ingle wasn't there. There was no Eddie Hearn. It smelled a bit like a cash grab. But I don't understand what that means though. Like, yeah, he did all of that himself. Fair enough. He got the fight himself, but he wanted a big fight. But a fight with Terence Crawford that was $2 million isn't really a cash grab, because that's not a lot of dough. He could have probably fought Liam Smith, and I'm pretty sure that fight would have made him 7 figures. How much would the fight with Liam Smith made? Would it have made over $1 million, $1.5 million? Possibly. I don't know what that fight would have made, but I'm pretty sure he would have got paid some nice money for that. And it would have been an easier fight in the sense that if he beat Liam Smith, he could have gone on for a world title. So, yeah, I don't really get this cash grab business. I don't really understand what people mean by cash grab, because a fighter's job is to fight. They're prize fighters. They go in there, they get paid. They put their lives on the line for our entertainment. So I think when we say that he's cashing out, I just think, nah, that doesn't sit well with me. I think he did what he had to do in terms of making the fight. He went in there and tried his best. It wasn't good enough, but he's a prize fighter. I don't understand why people are saying it smelled like a cash grab or it's a cash grab. He's a fighter. That's what they do. They fight, and they get paid for it. So I don't understand that. I don't understand what the people mean by that. If Kell Brook felt he could go and do the deal without Eddie Hearn, then fair play. At the end of the day, why does he have to give Eddie Hearn a split? Right? I agreed with Eddie when he said, after, if you didn't want me in the team, then you come back to me and then you expect me to put the fight on Sky. I didn't. I agreed with Eddie Hearn, but in terms of him doing the deal, going behind Eddie's back, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think Kell Brook knew that fight against Crawford's very tough. He could lose that fight, and then that's it. So by him paying Eddie a massive chunk, it leaves him with less dough. And Kell Brook wants as much. Like I said, he knows how tough the fight is with Crawford. He loses, that could be his career done. Like, people are saying his career's done now. So at least he got a nice little pair. And I think he always in the back of his mind thought, yeah, I lose to Crawford, then potentially I could get a Khan fight or even a Smith fight that would pay me decent. Like, a Smith fight still, in my opinion, I don't know. Like, I don't know the numbers, but I would say it plays Brook close to 7 figures. It's a fairly big fight. So he's still got one more fight. If he gets the Khan fight, that would just be like a bonus, because that would pay him quite good. If he can get the Liam Smith fight, then that's good as well. But the Khan fight would be like a great way for him to end. He'll get an opportunity to settle the feud with his rival, and he'll get paid probably a shed load of money, because I think that'd be huge. That'd be huge. And people say that could end up in the Middle East if. Honestly, but I just don't see him fighting Kell Brook, if I'm honest with you. A lot of people have been asking me, well, Amir Khan's not going to give Kell Brook the opportunity to. I just don't see it. I think Amir Khan's going to fight other guys. I think he'll fight Broner, and I just don't see him. I just don't see him fighting Kell Brook. So I think if Kell Brook wants to fight on, I think the fight that makes sense for him is Liam Smith. The Khan fight's not going to happen. I just can't see it happening. I've always felt that. I felt like Amir Khan's always felt he's on another level to Kell Brook. And why give, like, I'd probably be the same, to be honest. Why give somebody an opportunity that you feel is not on your level, an opportunity to potentially beat you? Because Amir Khan's achievements in his career are far greater than Kell Brook, in terms of he won a silver medal as an amateur. He became a unified champion. His resume is far more stellar than Brook's. He's beaten about 11 former world champions, Amir Khan. So that could all be taken away from him by losing to Kell Brook. So why give that guy the opportunity? You know, if I had a bitter rival, I would probably do the same. You know, Ricky Hatton did the same against Junior Witter, where he didn't want to give Ricky Hatton he didn't want to give Junior Witter the opportunity to beat him. You know, it's not necessarily they think they'll lose. They don't want to give them the opportunity to beat them. There's a difference. Amir Khan doesn't believe he will lose to Kell Brook, but he doesn't want to give him the opportunity of potentially beating him. Amir Khan knows deep down that's a fight that he could lose. That doesn't mean he thinks he will lose, but he thinks he could lose, right? And he's got a lot more to lose than Kell Brook. Kell Brook's got everything to gain. Amir Khan's got everything to lose. So that's why that fight doesn't happen, in my opinion. I just don't think, I just don't see that fight happening. So personally, I think that Kell Brook should fight Liam Smith, and I think he should move on. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. People may disagree, but yeah, I just think Amir Khan has always felt he's above Kell Brook, level above in terms of what he's achieved. And to be fair, he's got a point. You know, his achievements are far greater than Brook's. And he just doesn't want to give Kell Brook the opportunity of beating him. And it's not the fact that he thinks he will lose, because Amir Khan doesn't think he'll lose to Kell Brook. It's just the fact that he knows that he could lose, and he doesn't want to give Brook the opportunity of beating him. There's a difference. You know. I know I wouldn't beat Usain Bolt in a race. I know I wouldn't beat Usain Bolt in a race. Right? So, you know, I know I'll lose to him. But Johan Blake knows that if there's something on the line, for example, there's something serious on the line, he'll race Usain Bolt, and he'll know that he's capable of beating Usain Bolt, but there's a chance that he could lose. He may not beat Usain Bolt. Do you understand? So do you understand that guys at top level don't feel that they will lose? But if you feel you're a level above somebody, you don't want to give them the opportunity to beat you, especially in a sport like boxing, where the guy could humiliate you or embarrass you. And I don't think Amir Khan would want to lose to Kell Brook. Not to say that he thinks he will lose. I don't believe Amir Khan thinks he loses to Kell Brook. But he doesn't want to give Brook the opportunity of beating him. There's a difference because of the rivalry, the bitterness, the fact that they don't really get on. And that's what it comes down to. There's a difference between people say Amir Khan knows he will lose. No. He doesn't know he would lose. He doesn't want to give the guy the opportunity to potentially beat him. Yeah, Amir Khan believes in his head that he beats Kell Brook. But he doesn't want to give him, he knows deep down that he could lose. So he's confident at the same time. He's probably confident in his head that, yes, I can beat this guy. But then he also knows that, okay, I could lose. You know, it's kind of one of them. It's hard to explain where it's 50. He knows, yeah, I'm confident I can beat him. But at the same time, you know, I could lose as well. So it's one of them. Why give a guy an opportunity you feel that's below you to beat you? I would probably be the same if I had a bitter rival. I don't particularly want to lose to him, right, or give him the opportunity to beat me. I'd probably be the same way, to be honest. To be fair, I think if Kell Brook wants to fight on, I think firstly, I don't think 147 is his weight. I don't think he's going to fight at 147, and I don't think Amir Khan's going to move up to 154. So that in itself kills that fight. You know, unless Kell Brook wants to fight at 147 again and have to go through that again, that's up to him. But I wouldn't advise it, you know, because as Dominic Ingle said, you know, you don't recover. It's dangerous. At a certain point, it gets dangerous. And what are you doing it for? By fighting Amir Khan, he's not going to get anything from it. What's he going to gain from fighting Amir Khan? He's not going to gain a world title shot. Amir Khan's not mandatory to any world title. Liam Smith, potentially, Kell Brook could beat. If he beats Liam Smith, he could go on to become a world champion. He could potentially... Liam Smith is mandated. I believe he's a mandatory challenger for a 154-pound title. So if he beats Liam Smith, he takes that spot and could go on to get a world title shot. So that's the route that I think Kell Brook should go down, because Amir Khan is not going to fight Kell Brook at 154. We need to forget that. If Kell Brook's that fight's going to happen, it's going to happen at 147, and I don't think it's safe for Kell Brook to be fighting at 147. But again, if he wants to do it, I'm more than happy. That would be great if that fight happens, and I would love seeing it actually, especially at 147, right? I don't think it's a good fight for Kell Brook, if I'm totally honest with you. I don't. And after that, seeing what I saw on Saturday night, I know it was Terence Crawford, but I just think Brook's punch resistance at that weight. Let's see what happens in the upcoming days, because we need to see what happens whether Brook fights on or not, because I'm not sure what from his body language afterwards. But sometimes after a fight, when you've been defeated the way he was defeated, you're emotional. You're thinking with your, you're thinking, oh, I'm done. But how many times have we seen guys a couple of weeks later say, you know what, I'm going to fight on. I'm going to fight on. Let's see. Let's see what happens a couple of weeks, a couple of months down the road. Who knows? Brook may come out in a couple of weeks, a month time, say, that's me. I'm done. Or he may say, I'm going to fight on. I'm pretty sure that will come in the next couple of weeks. I think we'll hear more. But the fact that he's pondering retirement, that in itself is that says a lot. That says where he's at and what his mindset's at. Because when someone starts pondering retirement, then for me that's the beginning of the end, really. But yeah, let's see what happens. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.